Hi there. Welcome back to Tarot by Janine. How's everybody doing? I'm doing good. So I've been looking at a lot of things, as you know, for the last couple of years. And the WHO, from what I gather, is absolutely run by dark cats, okay, or has been. So what I want to do is look at a big zodiac on it and see if it's still a danger to humans. Is it still a thing? Has it been taken over? Is it still run by dark cats? Who runs it? Like, is it completely infiltrated, and who's infiltrated it? I also want to know what the future of it is. So we'll do a big zodiac and just look at the life and lifespan of that organization. And then let's have a look at the UN. Okay. So the UN, largely feared to be, dark cat, obviously, and has done a lot of bad in the world. Okay. Even though, of course, it was created, pretending to be something really good for humans. Turns out it's likely a very nefarious company and or world organization. So these world organizations, they still have to be outed to the general public, but certainly everybody in communities like this, we know what these guys are all about. So I want to look at the lifespan of the UN as well in a big zodiac. So let's start with the WHO and just have a look at what's going on there. How does that look? Okay, so the first thing I noticed, we've got the Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands in the first house of Aries, so that's the ego of this corporation or this organization. Okay, so it's a world organization and it's had a lot of clout, but I'm going to say it's very interesting how few major arcanas there are. So all of its clout, right off the bat, look at this. There's only one major arcana. So a lot of its teeth, let's just say, have been taken away. Okay. They don't have a lot of clout here. Okay. So that's really interesting. And it's got two court cards and two aces. Now the aces are interesting. The aces are interesting because when you see an ace in like a zodiac spread, wherever the ace falls, you're going to see within the next year something completely different in that area of the person's life, if it's a person, or in this case, the life of the organization. Okay, so in this case, we have in the fourth house an ace of pentacles. So where it's located, so its actual home, so the home of the WHO is going to change. Physically, the location of where it was located, maybe even what country it's located in, it's going to change. Okay. Now this is interesting. Right across from it is the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups is deals have been made. So some deals have already been made. These are backdoor deals, shaking hands, things like that going on in the back chapters. So the whole organization in the heart of it, because the other way you could read that fourth house is the heart of something, what grounds it, has completely changed. So the thing has already changed hands. The WHO is no longer, it doesn't look like to me, in the hands of the bad guys. So isn't that interesting? Right at the root here. And they're still in the process of making deals or looking at how is that going to look going forward. So all of their funding, all of their executives on high levels, like they're either making deals or likely getting rounded up, these people. Okay. So depending, I think, on how bad and or what they've been up to, that'll depend on what those deals look like. But there's a whole lot of communication going on between higher ups, and the actual organization has changed hands entirely with that ace. Okay. And there's another ace and this is around daily routines and what gets out sort of daily from them. And it's an ace of swords. So it's about information. So the kind of information they are putting out will change dramatically in the next year. It won't even be the same narrative. Okay. Because we know that the narrative that they have been putting out is largely fear and all kinds of, misinformation is putting it mildly. We could even say complete lies. Okay. So, in leading up to and in the last, probably since its inception, frankly, the WHO has largely been in place to well, fool us. And I'm just going to use mild words here, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So they're hugely nefarious. And here we've got this Ace of Swords. So what they're saying and how they present in the public eye, written word, all of their written word, like you're going to see a big difference. Maybe even the logo changes, likely. Visuals are going to change. The look of it's going to change with that ace there. Okay. And then we've got the Three of Cups. So it changes for the good or in a good way. Okay. So there's already, we see that it's completely a different organization than it was. So that's actually good news. There's a lot of inner fighting in the ego structure of it. So who's going to do what going forward with whoever's left running the place, right? Okay. And they're likely going to have to fill a lot of spots because I bet a whole lot of those higher ups aren't I bet a lot of those higher ups are in a certain south of Florida spa, or they might be in, who knows, apparently Greenland is another area where they're using it as sort of a gathering place for these elites, we'll just say, right? Yeah. So I don't know who's left here, but whoever's left, it's almost like they're fighting over who's doing what or who was responsible for what or who knew what. So it feels like a lot of inner fighting. And here we've got the Knight of Pentacles. Somebody else has been placed in charge. It looks like somebody who was really low on the totem pole. Looks like they were placed in charge and is trying to hold it all together. Somebody who likely wasn't in on the big schemes. Maybe somebody who was literally just doing their job. Okay, so that kind of left holding the whole thing, trying to hold the whole thing together. So that's interesting. And there's a lot of stress financially. So this is the second house, so finances. A lot of stress financially, and I feel like the finances have been taken charge of by what looks like the good military. Okay, so here we've got, now this is what their intention is going forward. So this would be the third house. So it's like what they're speaking about and their intention is going forward, sort of like what you're creating with your words, your intentions, so as a corporation, so it's going to be more about health to the good. So it's going to be more to the advantage of humans' actual health and less about all those nefarious things that they were about. Yeah, because the Queen of Pentacles, she's really, really about health and or very healthful. Okay, a lot of the Pentacle court cards can be very healthy, especially if they're well aspected. And this is really well aspected. It's across from the six. So the Six of Wands is a victory. So a victory for human health. So it's actually going to change from being literally like kind of a gas chamber type organization, I'll just say. I don't know if I can say that here. And it turns into something that's actually about humans, for the good of humans' health. Wow. But it'd likely be rebranded entirely. And something more joyful. So that's interesting. Something more, so energetically, it's going to have a whole different energy. It looks like financially run by a good military group. And everybody who's left there who wasn't rounded up is making deals, trying to get out of the trouble they're in. And or it feels like they're taking these people one at a time and trying to discover how much they knew about what was really going on. And slowly but surely, but it still exists though. So that's interesting. And it looks like I said, it'll be rebranded, even change where the home of it is. And the heart of it has completely changed. So two aces, it's changed physically, literally, and what they're going to say, what they put out there. So that's really good news. Let's have a look at the UN. So a lot of stories about the UN troops. Like I've heard so much fear about the UN in the last couple of years. It's hard to keep up to what apparently they've been up to. Okay. And I've never got they had any power left, but let's double check. Okay. Is the UN still a thing? Do we need to worry about it? How long will it be around? What's it going to look like? Okay, so the UN, it's coming up, first card pull. So the ego of the UN right now is the King of Swords. So that's interesting because the King of Swords is generally thought to be in the hands of somebody who studied the law and somebody who's really intelligent and fair. I wonder if it's been assigned to, the big organization of the UN. I wonder if it's been assigned to somebody to oversee. So let's keep looking. And in the deep unconscious here, right next to the King of Swords, we've got the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles, a very generous, well-meaning. These actually look really nicely aspected here. This is maybe even a philanthropist, so that's interesting. I wonder if two different men, because there's two guys side by side here, have been given, and they're both, energetically males, according to the cards here. I wonder if it's in particular being run by two different men. One of them could be in the army, a military man, and the other one's a very wealthy philanthropist type, generous, easygoing, good-natured person here. But this other person looks really stern but fair, intelligent, studied the law, and is likely connected to the military. Interesting. And across from it, but there's a fairness to that king, and he's well aspected. So across from it, we have the 5. So anybody originally in the UN was kicked out, it looks like. So that 5 of Pentacles feels like, it's been taken over. So it feels like a takeover here. Okay, so here we've got the Fool. So financially, the Fool across from the 6 of Cups. It's really up in the air with that Fool. What's going to happen to the money? So if they had any money in reserve, because I got a feeling they didn't, maybe they were bankrupt actually by the time this got taken over. This feels like it's been taken over. And not only by military and also like a very well-meaning, good philanthropist type male, but also we've got the Star in the daily routine. So the Star, to me, that's off-worlders, but it's across from. So I wonder if the person that I'm talking about, who's the well-meaning, easygoing, they feel like they might be a bit of a hybrid with off-worlder energy to them. And we've looked at, there's a few people that could be, and Mr. T's one of them. We've looked into his background. He's definitely a bit of a hybrid. Well, it looks like he's got off-world and human combo sort of energy. He doesn't, I don't get that he was actually physically, literally a part of the family he was in. So the Trump family, I don't think that's his original family. I think he was actually created somehow. So this feels like it's been taken over, and it's not in the hands of the bad guys. In fact, we've got the Devil here across from the 7. I feel like they still want you to believe. So with that 7, I feel like that the idea that it's still the bad guys is somehow they're using that to their advantage. I feel like they're using it in a really unique way. They're using the idea that they're still playing out a part of the movie with the UN as the bad guys, but the UN has been taken over by the looks of it. I'm not afraid of the UN when I look at this. Okay, I know a lot of people are, and they talk about it, and you get all that fear porn going around. Doesn't look like it's an issue here. In fact, we've got 2 off-worlder, and these are our good and benevolent off-worlder type and or human, people energies that oversee the human race, who may be human themselves. That would be the Hermit, but maybe our future selves or some kind of advanced version of ourselves, because we don't know how time goes. We don't know how time is. Time goes in a loop. I don't think it's linear. Like we've been told that's all dark cult understanding, you guys. None of that's true. In fact, most of what we thought was true about the world is not true. So we got to come up with how these things really work, and we're just piecing it together, right? That's what we're doing. Also, good military influence. Okay, so it's playing out. It's like, feels like it's part of the movie. So they're using the UN to blame things on and look like part of the movie, or to wake people up. Okay, because if the regular folks start getting the idea, like what's happening in Australia, okay, so these troops come in, and all kinds of rumors go around that they're actually UN troops. Okay. And then they do bad things at these large gatherings that happen all over the world. Okay. So now people start to realize that groups like the UN and the WHO are not good groups for the good of humans. They're in fact against us. They're in fact the enemy. Okay. So that's what I think they're up to, like playing these guys and making them the bad guys in a lot of different scenarios. And I think the good guys are the ones spreading the rumors all over the place about, what the UN are doing and how bad they are. Like, it seems to me a lot of the scenarios have been taken over, and I'm thinking by the good guys. So this group is no longer operated by. In fact, I'm feeling like it's going to be put to rest altogether. I feel like the big picture here, we've got the Two of Swords. I think they're looking at how they're going to literally wrap this up. Unlike the WHO that looks like it'll actually transform into something worthwhile and actually useful to humans, this looks like it'll literally get shut down. This feels like they're going to play it out as part of the movie and the whole thing gets shut down. So, wow. And I think these guys were even worse than the WHO, if you can imagine, with all these major arcanas. I think they were even worse. And so that's why this can't be revived or revisited. Thank you so much for watching my video. Do like, share, and subscribe.